Hey guys, welcome. Thank you for joining me and Ryan from RightBlogger. We are so happy that you are here. And this call today is about planning your content for your blog. Okay. So I actually have two links to share that I'm going to pop in the chat, and then my co-hosts will continue to pop them in the chat. Link number one is our affiliate link for RightBlogger, but hopefully y'all already have it because I've been telling you about it for months. If not, now's the time. Go set up your free account. And then the second link is actually Ryan's content calendar template, and there's no sign up required. So we're going to go through that. So Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. Go ahead and dive in, and I'll interrupt if there's any, time sensitive questions. Otherwise, we'll save everything till the end, you guys. So if it's something that right this second, Ryan said something and you're totally lost, we'll help you out. Otherwise, save your questions till the end, write them down, and we'll have a little bit of time for a Q&A. So Ryan, take it away.
Yes, please, as Sadie mentioned, please drop your questions, your comments as you have them. I know what it feels like to try and sit on a question for a long time. So don't don't burden yourself with that. Drop it in the chat. We'll flag it. We'll write them down. We'll come back to them. But if it's timely, especially please drop it in there. And we can always pause and redirect a little bit. That's not a big deal. So today I want to be talking about content planning. So a little bit of backstory here. I've been running my blog, ryrob.com, for a little over 12 years now, pretty consistently at least. There were some days where it was kind of a funky Tumblr blog and lots of other iterations of it before, but in earnest, I've been blogging the way I'm blogging now for about 12 years. And I get around 500,000 monthly readers, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. And I've written for lots of different publications. I've had columns on sites like Inc., Forbes, Fast Company, Entrepreneur, all those, big name brand sites, you could call them, over the years. And if you want to talk more about those sites one day, definitely send me a note wherever you can find me, and I could share a lot more about should you try and write for those sites, because a lot's changed in that world too. So anyway, today I want to talk about the content planning process that I've used both for my own sites and for the companies that I've been hired as a consultant for, places that I've had full-time jobs, part-time gigs, helping out with leading content teams. And to me, really stripping everything away, what content planning really means is figuring out a regular cadence that works for you to publish in the formats, the mediums that feel right to you and that your audience wants to consume content in. So, Sadie mentioned at the top of this video, she made a video today, and she doesn't make a ton of videos, at least not yet. But thinking through what that means to you and your process as we move forward is a really important thing to consider. So, should I create this piece of content as a blog post? Should I create it as a video? Should I create it as a podcast episode? We got tons of different ways you can make content these days. And so, we'll talk a little bit about that today. But to give you a little bit of a preview, my favorite way to think through a content idea from idea to execution is to think about it these days as video first. And video can be as simple as screen share, like what we're doing here. You can do it from your smartphone. It can be like a vertical video that you see on sites like Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, etc. Or it can be a bit more production value, and you can have it as kind of the long form video that's going to be on YouTube long form. So those are the kinds of things to consider. And then, as Sadie mentioned, my favorite tool inside RightBlogger is the same one as hers, the YouTube video to blog post generator. And you paste in the link to any YouTube video, and within just like a few clicks, you toggle your settings, you make it personalized, you can create a first draft blog post based on that video. And so these are the kinds of little things that using AI these days is extremely helpful for taking stuff off your plate that doesn't give you the most energy. And I really like to think about that in my content planning process too is, all right, does this particular topic feel like something I want to talk about on video? Or is it just going to be a quick post? Or is it a quick selfie social video that I don't want to put a lot of effort into? And I think really figuring out what your audience wants, what the potential, search volume demand is out there for this particular topic is also stuff to consider. But if you haven't yet, please hit that link that Sadie dropped in. I'll paste it in the comments here as well for the content planning template. This is my Google Sheets doc that I use to plan out what my content what it looks like when it's going to be published, the particular ideas I'm going to tackle and when. And then there's kind of this storehouse of here's all the ideas that we want to do. Here's all the stuff we have published. And here's the monthly search volume. So it helps me prioritize when to publish particular pieces as well. So let's get into the fun stuff here, guys. Let me think about how I share my screen. I am a tabs addict, like I'm sure many of you are. So I want to share the right screen. Let's see. And of course, Zoom updates. Always be changing things. Here we go. Perfect. All right. Can you guys see my screen okay? Beautiful. Okay. Let me move your pretty faces over here so I can see y'all as I'm going. There we are. Nice. Okay. So if you popped open this Google Sheet, this is what you are seeing right now if you don't have me up full screen, which is a scary thought. Now, I dropped a few different links in here, kind of just on the bottom side of this template. Here's RightBlogger. Sadie's link's going to have the link for you guys, but here's a free course that I put together on blogging, kind of just the synthesis of everything I've learned and how I like to instruct people on blogging these days. And then there's a free keyword research tool here. This one is going to be slightly underpowered compared to the one that we have inside of RightBlogger, but this one is forever free. There's no limits. You can use it without an account. It's ungated. So a good bookmark, perhaps, or something to share with friends who maybe are kind of at the beginning part of their journey. And in this little calendar template, there's two tabs you're going to notice. So I have a tab down here on the bottom for keyword research. This is where I like to dump in keyword research when I'm out choosing a bunch of topics and I want to just flag something, but I don't want to say, hey, like, let's build out a full idea of what this post is going to be. And so let me pop over here to the version of this sheet that we're going to be using here today. And now my first question for y'all is that I would love to use some real world examples from some of you guys. So if you have, let's take maybe 30 seconds here to drop in the comments what your niche is, what your overarching topic theme is for your blog. And I'd love to figure out how we can build a content plan for one of you guys. Make this a little bit more real and take the hypotheticals out. Okay. So I'll give you all a few minutes. Ooh, you guys are so active. You're on it. You're right here. I love this. All right. There's some really good ones here. Oh no. Now I have to choose homeschooling, US road trip travel, party games and ideas. Oh man. Date nights and relationships, family travel. Oh my gosh. You guys are doing some really good stuff. I love this. Oh man. Okay. All right. So, I'm going to choose the selfish route here and choose one of these topics that I'm a little bit interested in myself because that is low key one of the most important things you can do when choosing a topic to blog about is to make sure that you actually really care about the subjects you're creating content about, whether you're writing, video, audio, doesn't matter. People are going to tell if you actually care what you're talking about. So you're doing yourself a favor here when you choose something great. So I am so partial to road trips in the US that Teresa, we're going to work with your example today. I've been to all 50 states thanks to my dad growing up. We took tons of road trips around the country. So let's talk about road trips. And I like the focus of, I guess, just first and foremost here, I like the focus of US road trips in particular. I think that's a fantastic niche to weigh in on. But I will also say that there are going to be people that you may slice out of that audience if you don't also just talk about road trip related prep, road trip tips, things like that. So I would say, like, just holistically, how I'd approach this kind of content plan myself is like something like 75% US road trip focused content, and then maybe 25% that's a bit more top line, like how to prepare for a road trip. I can envision some ultimate guide style stuff here that isn't necessarily specific to the US, but is going to be valuable to that audience of people who do want a road trip in the US. And I think interestingly, with this topic, you're probably also going to capture a really broad international audience that's coming to the US. They're planning a US road trip, perhaps as much as just US based people as well. So let's just say in our calendar here, I'm going to eliminate the one that we're not using today. So let's say um, the first topic that comes to mind when I'm figuring out content planning myself, and Teresa, please bear with me here if I'm going to cover topics you've already covered on your site, but we're going to just use this as an example. How to prepare for a road trip. I'm just going to add that in as the first one because I said that a couple of minutes ago and I was like, oh, you know what? That's a pillar piece of content that a site on this topic needs to have. And so generally speaking, when I'm figuring out what a content plan looks like for me, I want to have a mix of two different types of content. One, stuff that's driven by me, ideas that I have that I know need to be covered on this topic because I've done it, I live it, this is what I'm experienced in, this is what I care about. And then bucket number two is, what are other people searching for? What are those gaps that I could fill based on my knowledge? And the reason that this second bucket here is really important is because the further you get into whatever your niche is, your area of expertise, where you've spent, say, most of your life, or perhaps it's a hobby you've just gone really deep into, you often forget what it's like to be a beginner back in the very early days. No matter how much experience you have, I do this all the time myself. I forget what it's like when I first started blogging. And so keeping a really close pulse, doing that research, listening to what other people are saying, looking at what other sites are publishing on these topics, like that, that'll keep you closely connected to what real people are searching for. So this one right here, this one is just the "it burst from me" kind of post that I need to write on this topic. So let's start with this one, and then we'll go to more of the research back process second. Over here inside of RightBlogger, what I really like to do for this, let's call this the road that starts with a topic I know I want to create about already. I'm going to go straight to the keyword research tool, and I just want to make sure that I'm not freaking crazy here. Is this a topic that other people actually care about? Is this something they're searching for? Or is this kind of just, a me problem? And I do have lots of problems. So here in the keyword research tool, we added this little sparkle over here on the right. When you type in a single keyword, if you want to get some more ideas on different keywords that are related to it, just hit the sparkle button and you'll see it just added a bunch here. Packing essentials, route planning, car maintenance, snack ideas, entertainment tips. This is all really good stuff. And we use AI to kind of inject these terms that Google is already saying is related to and important to the first keyword that you put in here. So let's just hit submit on that. You can toggle for different countries, right? Different target languages, but this is going to be US based. And let's hit submit. So we can see here, this is actually really funny. Having snack ideas in the search seems to have really skewed us. I guess a lot of people are searching for snacks right now. So snack ideas, that's not something necessarily that I'd want to publish on a blog like this. Maybe road trip snack ideas. That sounds pretty dang good to me. I'm actually going to add that to my keyword research tab. Road trip snack ideas. So as you can see here, this is a pretty on the fly thing, and there's no inherently right or wrong, good or bad way to do keyword research and content planning. I like to really allow myself, when I'm going to be researching and planning, say, what my next month's content plan looks like, I want to set aside an hour or two to just allow the process to unfold. So there's kind of the art, there's kind of the science, and I like to dip my toes in both of them. But when I see an idea like this that sparks something, I'm going to flag it here as something to come back and research. But what I'm seeing here is that us adding a bunch of related terms to this particular topic kind of skewed the results. So I'm going to take that out, come back to our regular result here. How to prepare for a car road trip. That's interesting. We're not seeing a lot of high volume terms for this. And what I really like about this kind of result for keyword research is that it tells me if my site's relatively new or I don't have thousands of backlinks, that I'll have a real shot at ranking for this. And I like this one right here. This suggests there's 140 or so monthly searches and competition is medium. Now, take all keyword data with a grain of salt. I actually have a very long article on my thoughts about how reliable are keyword tools. I'm going to paste this into the chat for you guys. Should you take, the search volume that they suggest literally and make all your life plans on it? No. Keyword tools are always just going to be directionally reliable and useful. You could try my keyword tool. It might give you some slightly different results. But even Google's own keyword planner tool is not a perfectly accurate thing. So what you're really hoping to do here is just see that your keyword phrase that you're looking for has some volume and that it has some ads being spent on it. So this over here, this column is the cost per click. This is how much it costs to run an ad and appear in the top ranking positions for this particular term. And any term that has ads being run on it, if there's anything in this field, that's a positive signal because that says, okay, there are companies that are somehow monetizing traffic they're paying for this. And what we want to do is naturally be the top organic ranks. So you're not paying for that traffic. But what I'm looking for here, how to prepare your car for a road trip. I like that. I think that's a pretty interesting one. 140. I'm gonna just guess that there's probably more people searching for something like that per month. But again, sticking with directionally useful here, let me just copy this one to the clipboard and come back and add it into the keyword research tab here. This is where I'm collecting all of my ideas and we'll use the number that it suggests, though I'm not convinced that it's that few people. Um, Competition it suggested was medium. Value to company, there's just value to you as your site. I'm going to say that this is a pretty high value post, at least topically, for a website that's all about road trips. And I would say this would be kind of a pillar guide style post. How to prepare your car for a road trip seems pretty important to me. Now, sticking with the allowing ourselves to go down the rabbit hole a bit here, I like to spend some time on any keyword that I'm researching to just kind of scan what the other results are and see if it inspires anything to me. This one, not necessarily. It kind of looks like all of these terms are just variations of the same sort of sentiment, which is this how to prepare your car for a road trip kind of thing here. And I think you could go down some other rabbit holes. Inspiration, striking me as I'm just kind of thinking and talking out loud here, like packing list for road trip. That's something that comes to mind. We already got road trip snack ideas. That's pretty fun too. But let's say, for example, here, we want to transition over to more of the research back process for finding keywords. Now, what I like to do when I want to find stuff that, is not just coming from within my own ideas, figure out what other people are searching for, then I'll go over to the keyword cluster tool inside of RightBlogger. This is where I get a lot of really good, valuable stuff that I never even think of. Things that don't occur to me at all will pop up here. Now, in the keyword cluster generator, I'm just going to type in our top level topic from Teresa here, US road trips. Oh my gosh, what exactly did you say? You said US road trip. Here we go. US road trip travel. Okay. Let's just pop that in and see what we get. you got some additional instructions you can always add into these tools if you have, a specific way that you would like to suggest this keyword cluster mapping be done. But essentially, what this tool will do for you is it will show you all of the most important topics as suggested by search engines like Google. And so when you're building out the different categories, the main pillar topics for your site, this is extremely valuable. This is almost a cheat code. This is almost like Google telling you, hey, here is what your site should be about if it's going to be about US road trip travel. And so we can see, let's just do a quick scan here. General road trip planning. Okay. That was kind of my first assumption when we started this. There's going to be stuff that, may not necessarily be US specific, but general to planning. Road trip essentials. Ooh, look at that. Packing list came up on top there. Road trip gadgets. Ooh, okay. So, again, allowing ourselves to go down the rabbit hole here. I love a piece like this because to me, this screams listicle. And this also screams something that could be monetized relatively easily. This could be links to Amazon's affiliate program. This could be links to specific companies or tools, gadgets that you're an affiliate for. Kind of the sky's the limit on a piece of content like this. And so I really like this one. I'm just going to copy that right now and add this to my keyword research list. And then what we're going to do after we've selected some categories here is we're going to come backfill some of the keyword volume data. But we've got another main category, best road trip destinations, budget and costs, family road trips, like a whole category specific to families, pets, seasonal stuff, road trip experiences, tips, and advice. So this is a lot. When we're talking about content planning, what we just did in a few clicks is we essentially came up with, my Lord, I don't know, 6 months to a year's worth of content topics. And obviously, there's going to be some overlap here. You're going to want to pick and choose these kinds of things based on where your own personal interest is, too. But what I'd like to do for the sake of this, kind of demo here and not talk the entire freaking time by myself is to just cherry pick, say, one from each of these categories that I really like and add them to our content sheet here. So I'm going to say, ooh, let's just grab US road trip planning. I think that's a pretty interesting one because there's going to be a lot of nuance to planning a road trip in the US that's so different than other countries. Naturally, the question, should I bring a gun or not, right? Isn't that a US road trip thing? Okay, so road trip packing list we have. That was a joke, by the way. Don't bring guns on your road trip unless, you're licensed for it. Um, we had road trip snack ideas already in there. Road trip packing list. I think I had that one, I want to say. Yes, packing list for road trip. However, this is a cool thing I just noticed. This suggested it in this specific phrasing, road trip packing list. And I really like to pay attention to phrasing because I wrote down packing list for road trip. Now, that may be okay. Google might figure out, hey, that's what this post is about. But I really like to use the exact phrasing that these kinds of tools suggest because they suggest them for a reason. Now, let's see. Best road trip destinations USA. I like that. Okay. That's another like really good listicle topic for me. Whether it's 10, it's 20, it's 50, 100, that's a pretty good one. Budget and cost, frugal, managing road trip expenses, cost of oh, okay. This is so good. We're coming up with different content types here, guys. So this piece right here, cost of road trip USA. This is something that would be a quick search and quick answer for most people. But you could also really figure out like how to do something special with this piece of content that gets it swooped up into like a featured snippet, or it in the future, if there's AI summaries for this kind of a keyword phrase, it's going to be like the top cited source for it. And what I imagine for something like cost of a road trip USA is obviously the quick answer. So have somewhere near the top of your post as a key takeaway, the cost of a road trip in USA is this to this, typically this to this, or something like that. And then you could perhaps have a really fun video where you talk about what your costs were for a recent road trip. You actually break down like what you spent money on, and maybe on the screen it pulls up, $1,000 for gasoline, 1,500 for hotels. You could do some really interesting content with a topic like that. Family road trip. Let's just grab this one because I love the idea of listicles for this kind of stuff. Just quick hit content. Road tripping with dogs. Let's see. Let's do pet friendly road trip tips. That's a cool one. I can imagine a lot of people search for that. Okay, we only got 3 more, so let's do it. Let's do summer road trips USA. That's going to be a fun one. And road trip experiences. This one to me, it feels, I understand that this would be a good content like category for a site, but for the sake of this, there's a lot of overlap from what we've already touched on. Um, and I really like the idea of, I don't know, this one jumped out at me here, safety tips for road trips. And I think having that one be kind of, US specific is also super interesting. Say in, let's just do this, USA. That seems to be what we do when we type in searches. We don't say in and the. Cool. So here's the cool thing about if you do use this keyword tool inside of RightBlogger, if you have an account, whether it's free or unlimited with us, this cluster that you just created will always be in your content dashboard. So it's something that you can always and forever come back to and say, hey, what was that freaking idea that I had? If you're like me and you get idea overwhelm. So once we get kind of our hit list of keyword research here, what we'll then want to do is come back to a keyword tool. I'm going to use the one here inside RightBlogger, and I think we had some duplicates here. Okay, so I'm going to delete this one. Oops. If we can figure out how to use Google Sheets again. And I'm going to start with road trip snack ideas. So let me paste this one in here. And we can see, ooh, this is such a good one, you guys. All right. So, Teresa, here's what I would do upon seeing this result here. So, this suggests to me 1,000 monthly search volume, medium competition. That's pretty awesome. This is a really good one. So, what I think I would do, because I see this road trip snack ideas for adults as a separate post. I think you really, really want to approach this from the perspective of having kind of your ultimate list of, say, 25 best road trip snack ideas as its own post. And then I would consider a separate, perhaps smaller post, maybe 5 to 10 snacks that are for adults. And then you can do a for kids one too. And I think that's going to kind of turn these into long tail keyword opportunities where you will not have as much competition as just trying to rank for road trip snack ideas. So let's catalog this info real quick and then let's move on. I don't think we're going to get to filling out the monthly search volume for all these because I talk for a very long time, you guys. I'm going to say the value for this road trip snack ideas is high because this is another potential listicle with affiliate links. And so I like to try and capture what my kind of idea is for how this potential post could unfold. How to prepare for your car road trip. We got that monthly search volume. We decided, hey, this is probably a pillar post. Let's make this a high value. Let's say this is an ultimate guide with categories within preparation to link to other articles. So to me, this one really screams pillar post where you can link out to things like, a road trip packing list from your how to prepare. And then your packing list can become a separate piece of content. Let's get the search volume for this one. And then we're going to move on and I'll dive into more of the what comes next in the planning process. Road trip packing list, 1.9K monthly searches. And this suggests high competition. I believe that. I'm going to think this one's pretty competitive. I think that probably the way that you get around competing head on for this particular topic, first and foremost, you probably should publish something that goes after this keyword phrase because it's so core and key to this theme of your blog that it's just important. But I would also think about stuff like family road trip packing list. See, that one has less search volume, but it has less competition too. And so I would think about ways that you could kind of segment this out into some longer tail opportunities, like, kid road trip packing list. There's lots of different ways you could probably approach this one. But let's say, for the sake of this example, let's just pull this one in. 1,900 monthly searches. I'm going to say is also very high because this is another one that is potential for affiliate links. There we go. And what you'll notice in this sheet is that I do also have some links to competitors here. If you want to spend like real time on each keyword phrase, then go and do the Google search, look at who's ranking at the top, maybe take some notes on how they're ranking, why they're ranking, what looks like they're doing well. And you can really figure out, I think, some useful insights. So we'll never be able to cover it all in one session. I'm sorry. But what we'll do here is, let's say that, you've collected as many keyword ideas as you want for, let's say, a couple of months worth of content here. You've filled this all out faster than I can. And what you want to do is you want to start pulling these over into your editorial calendar now. And what I like to do is typically group these using the sheets filtering by the value. So let's say, I think, there we go. Well, this is not going to be pretty or perfect, but you get the idea. You can sort this based on very high value keywords showing up at the top of your list, especially if you have a lot of keywords, is pretty useful. And then what you could do is you could do a secondary sort and have the highest volume ones up at the top. But let's move forward. So this is the very high value term with the most keyword search volume that we've got. And I like to prioritize my approach to creating content based on that. Now, road trip packing list. What do we want to do with that? We could, if you just have an intuition here of how you want to approach this piece of content, then just type in your draft title. But let's say that, like me, you're not quite sure how you want to approach this necessarily. Let's click Generate Post Ideas. And this is going to take us over to the Post Idea tool, and it's going to formulate a bunch of different ways that you could approach this topic. Road trip packing list here we've got. And then it gives us suggestions, road trip packing list for families with young kids. That's pretty specific. I like that because it's a long tail post, but we've got solo road trip adventurers, eco-friendly pet owners. Oh, I love this. It's really suggesting some cool, different takes here. Oh, wow, this is a fun take. Road trip packing guide, luxuries you can actually fit in your car. That's cool. Okay, I like this one a lot myself. Road trip packing list for long hauls, cross-country essentials. So I'm going to copy this one. Let's just say that, for the sake of our example here, that's what we want to use as a working title for this article. And to save you guys the time, I would just do a quick description here talking about how I see this post coming together, and then monthly search volume, 1,900, the importance, very high. And then this is where things start to get fun when you're content planning. You got to be realistic with yourself about how frequently you'll be able to publish content. And I like to be kind to myself when I'm planning out publish dates, target publish dates, because I don't know about y'all, but I always think I can get more done in a day or a week than I actually ever can. So be kind to yourself here. And let's say, like, this listicle or this packing list here, this is something that I'm going to say is going to take me a week to produce because I want to just be generous. And we'll look out at August 1 as our target published date. And we'll do that for this year, not last year. And these tabs over here in the calendar are more for if you're working with a team of people. Let's say you have a virtual assistant who's helping you out with putting things in the keyword research tab, moving them over to your content plan. This could be unapproved if it's from an assistant and you need to approve it. And then status. I really like to know where things are going, especially if there's multiple people touching content. But if you're anything like me too, sometimes I get inspired to start a new article before I finish the last one. I think ADD does that to us. So this kind of stuff helps. And then you've got the live link once it's published. And if you want to take notes about where you want to maybe do some outreach and pitch a guest post to build some backlinks, you can do stuff like that too. But this was kind of I wanted to make sure we left enough time for Q&A here. This is the basic way that I approach content planning. And we only got through one example, but if you just start applying this process in the same way that I kind of loosely walked through here, then you'll be doing it well. So let me stop my screen share. If we can figure out how to do that even. Whoops. Okay. All right. Is my screen still visible, Sadie?
No, I took it off.
Cool. Thank you. Okay. So you guys, that was a lot of just kind of let's float around, jump around business here. I thrive with specific questions. So based on how that process kind of generally comes together, what would you guys like to know? What would be helpful for us to pop into?
I feel like we need some Jeopardy theme music whenever we're waiting for questions to come in. So does
love that.
everyone understand the process that Ryan just explained? And let me know in the comments, are you already in RightBlogger? Or are you already using RightBlogger, or are you new to RightBlogger? While we are waiting for people to chime in with hopefully their questions, tell me, are you already using RightBlogger? Or is this brand new? I purchased RightBlogger, but haven't used it yet. That was me with like a lot of AI tools because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. But RightBlogger is super, super, super easy to use, which is one of my like the top things that I love about it is like you don't have to know. Like there's some tools that I've bought that you have to like go through their documentation just to figure out which button to press to do the thing. And it's like, it's so much mental work that I'm just like, can you just tell me what to do? And that's what RightBlogger is. Like RightBlogger, because it was created by bloggers for bloggers, it's like it reads your mind because it already knows what you need. And that takes away so much of the hard work that comes with learning AI tools, right? So lots of pretty much all of my VIPs have it because I've been beating them over the head with it since March. So we know that the VIPs are in. We got some people fairly new but looks exciting. Alyssa just signed up. Alyssa, I was shocked that you had not already signed up because you're usually one of the first ones to jump on a tool and try it out. So whenever you said that in the chat, I was like, what? But I understand because we're all kind of tired of jumping from AI tool to AI tool. So I get it. You were letting us test the waters first. It's okay.
Everyone needs a
Also
test dummy.
helpful, right? And I'm glad to be the test dummy because I love checking out the tools and like unlike some people, I have no problem being like, this is a really shitty part of the tool, or I'm not going to keep using this tool. Like, I have no problem jumping ship and letting everybody know about it. Even whenever, like you guys, those of you who are with me a few years ago, I went from earning like $3,000 a month affiliates through an AI to saying, get out, get out, get out. And we all like ran to another tool. So you guys are our testing phase. We've already been through it. We love RightBlogger. That's why we're here. So I'm really glad there's so many of you using it.
Sadie, I did see a good question. It was in the comment section here. So Taima, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but you asked, do you have any recommendations or ideas for keyword clusters for destinations? And you kind of added some context. What terms to use other than things to do in New York, stuff like that. So I think honestly, this is a rabbit hole that could get pretty crazy for you if you allow it to. So really think through what feels right to you, but you could take a regional approach. You could even take a state by state approach. California Road Trips Guide is something that I can guarantee you a lot of people search. And you could even do something cool like embed a Google map with your kind of planned route. And here's the restaurant, here's the hotel, here's the site to see. in each of these days. Here's a suggested itinerary, even. So you could get pretty crazy here. My advice would be to stick to the places you've been and you know best as a starting point and work through those. See if there's any sort of different search volume for these kinds of, whether it's a state or it's a city or it's a region. I don't think there's a wrong way to approach this other than just making sure that there is some search volume for it. So always do that gut check. Don't take the search volume number literally, because there's always going to be fluctuations, especially seasonally too, with something like this. So no wrong
And
answer, but see what feels right.
I just pulled up the example of things to do in New York. I know she said she wants things other than just like the single keyword of things to do in New York. For me, whenever I do a travel blog, I try to focus, even if I'm traveling all over the world, like if it's just me and my travel blog, I try to focus on building up a cluster for each place anyway. Like I'm not just going to do things to do in New York. That's going to be my cluster. I'm going to have 25 posts, like the major attractions, best museums and galleries, neighborhoods to explore, best pizza in New York City. Like I'm going to build out a whole cluster for that type of thing, instead of like hopping things to do in New York City, things to do in Tallahassee, things to do here, things to do here. Like I'm going to have a cluster of each of those things, because if not, it's going to be kind of like thin content if you just have 3 posts about New York, you know?
I would
Okay,
also
there's
take a
lots of
seasonal approach to that
questions.
one too. So I'd do like,
Mhm,
rainy day things to do in New York, snow day things to
mhm.
do in New York, summer New York ideas. There's so
Yeah.
much there. Like it's almost infinite. You could probably write content just on that main seed of things to do in New York for months or years.
Yep, absolutely. And like when you travel to a new place, don't just think of like 1 or 2 posts. Sit down and think of like 10, 15 posts and really get that pillar content that you're interlinking and stuff, you know? Um, okay,
I'm gonna
so
drop in the comments real quick. This is the keyword cluster I just ran on that things to do in New York topic. So
I
you can
did
check
it
that
too.
out. There's so much in there.
I know, I did it too. That's what I was reading from. There's so much. Okay, so Alyssa asked, what are the limits for the free account? Which literally I need to know, because everyone asks me this and I'm like, I don't know, just go
Gosh.
sign up.
Okay, so you touched on an issue that uh my partner Andy, who builds the site, is actually working on this week. So we do not have an explicitly clear thing if you're on the free account, so that you know when you actually run out of each use on a tool. And just
Right.
generally speaking, most tools run about 2 times per month on the free account. Some of them do a little more, and there might be like occasions where it only hits one for you. And if that's the case, please send me an email to ryan@rightblogger.com and we can hook you up and make sure that you're able to feel like you actually get the most out of your testing experience with RightBlogger. That is important to us. But we're adding something that'll give you kind of a counter up in the top of your account very soon, so you'll know exactly where you stand.
Awesome. I love that, because literally people ask me all the time and I'm like, I have no clue. Okay, Micah or Mika, I'm not sure which way we say that I, says, can you use RightBlogger to create a social media strategy with the blog as the main content? I'm just going to say yes, because that's a whole nother video too. But yes, you absolutely can.
Not much to add there. That's a definite yes. I
Um,
like that.
okay, Jennifer said, what is the average time it takes? Okay, I want you guys to chime in, my VIPs especially. What is the average time it takes to complete a blog post when you're first beginning? And then what is the average time when you're more experienced? Because there's so many different ways to do this. If you start out with a video and use the YouTube video to blog post, writer inside of RightBlogger, literally you get a draft in like 30 seconds, and then you take it over to WordPress, you add in your images, and then you add a little bit of text, but like because you already did the video, it's not giving you a like crappy first rendition draft that you're having to change the whole thing, right? Like any AI tool you use, the first draft, you're just like, ugh, okay. And it gets better and better as you learn to work with it and train it, but still the first draft is a first draft, right? So um I can tell you that in under an hour, start to finish, if you use the blog post or the video to blog post, you can have the whole thing done. As a beginner, even as long as you're following blogging foundations, you guys, I give you step by step in the blogging course what to do. So as long as you're following that, if you're experienced and you're quick with it and you're used to it, I would say that it could be 45 minutes or less. Ryan, what would you say?
Yeah, I'd say like I'm a perfectionist, and so I have to like time box myself here. Otherwise, I will spend 4 hours on an article every single
Yeah,
time. And so
yeah,
to me, it really helps if I say, all right, here's my calendar. I've got an hour and a half maximum to work on this editing, then that's what it's going to take me.
yeah.
I don't know if that's magic or if that's a law of the universe, but for me, that's how I like to approach my process. And so typically speaking, when I go from YouTube video to blog post, the blog post itself is usually going to be a little bit shorter form. And for me,
Mm-hmm.
short form is say under 1,500 words. Maybe that makes me an addict to super long form content, but when I do something long form, that's more like a 3,000 word article probably. So
Yeah.
the difference of a video first creation process for me and say writing a long form guide, from scratch or using AI to get a first draft, those are the two different ones. And on the shorter form stuff with YouTube videos to blog posts, that's definitely under an hour and a half for me every time. Sometimes it can be really quick, actually. If the video is like a somewhat lengthy video, let's say over 10 minutes in length, then it has a lot of content to work with. And there's going to be multiple
Yeah.
different sections that it breaks out into headings and really builds that content out. So longer videos will typically give you some longer posts to start with, which usually makes it a shorter editing process too.
And it
But
also,
that
you
longer
guys, it
form,
does. Oh, sorry.
it's
It also does depend on like your niche and stuff. Like Taima was talking about a travel post. You're not finna write a travel post in under an hour, period. Like that's just not like it doesn't matter what tool you have. It's not gonna happen that way. So you have to know like what I would suggest for you guys is to start with a from scratch process and be like, okay, this took me 4 hours. How do I get it down to 3.5? How do I get it down to 3? How do I get it? And just keep going. Because if you're starting with a 4 hour post and I'm starting with a 2 hour post and I'm like, yeah, you can get it down to 30 minutes, you're going to be really disappointed that you can't get it down to 30 minutes. And you also have to, oddly enough, typing speed and brain processing speed play a big role in this. My brain processes things so freaking fast when it comes to blogging that like it's like a hamster on a wheel. And then I also type over 100 words a minute. So those are literally like that's literally like the perfect mix of being a blogger is having super fast typing and processing speed. So if you're like, I'm new, I don't understand XYZ, it's going to take longer. And Erica just said, I'm actually finishing a blog post up about RightBlogger right now. And I just wanted to throw Erica's hat in the ring, my hat in the ring. You guys, if you write about blogging, if you write about anything that has to do with AI, please come for me. Please try to outrank me on my RightBlogger reviews. Please, please, I'm ready. I'm ready. I want you guys to write it. It makes it so fun for me when I'm like, oh man, I got knocked into the 5th position. Let me see what I can do to get back up to number 1. So please, if you write about any of this, go sign up for the RightBlogger affiliate program, throw your hat in the ring and come for me. I'm ready. I love
Also, I've floated
competitions.
this idea before for everyone here and for Sadie, this is for you too. If you guys want a guest post on our blog, reach out to me with a pitch that you think we would accept. I can't make promises. We have to run it all through kind of our editorial process. But if you nail a topic that we should cover that's related to blogging, perhaps AI, SEO, that kind of stuff, always open to pitches.
Okay, I'm gonna go through. I know we're running out of time because I talk so much. I'm gonna go through these questions real quick. For listicles, can we include specific links? Yes, you can. And then best pizza in New York will spark some serious troll traffic. So fun fact, troll traffic pays just as well as fun loving traffic. Um, let's see. Let's see. Is it a one and done credit? Okay, so monthly. I do the video to blog post in about an hour. Took me about 3 to 4 hours to do a blog before Sadie's course, 1 to 2 after. Can we add business partners and assistants to our RightBlogger accounts yet?
No, not yet is the answer that I have for you today. Now, that being said, we were about to roll out like Teams plans, we were calling them, but we decided to take a step back and lump that into something bigger that should be coming next month. So we decided for how you build things purposes to pause on that and get this bigger thing that will incorporate Teams coming next month. And to tease that, what we're hoping to do is we're going to call it projects, and we're hoping to have a Google Search Console connection piece as well, so that RightBlogger will learn from your actual keyword data and how your content is ranking, and it'll be able to have way more personalized suggestions. Think something like a multiple times a week email with ideas that are perhaps trending or expected to trend in your niche and how much, search potential that has. So when that comes out, we're planning on having the ability to also add other people to your account with some different permission levels and stuff like that too.
I love that. So somebody asked, Sherry asked if there was an audio to blog post option, and that should be live next week. Ryan, we're recording. You better tell Andy.
He's going to watch
Um,
this recording and there's just going to be sweating bullets.
I know. No, I don't want to compete with you. Come on, Alyssa. It's so fun. I love it. And for those of you who are brand new here, we really don't compete with each other. Like, I want everybody to be on the front page. Like, that's my competition, is I want everybody in here to get on the front page of RightBlogger. We can all fight for the front page, but we can all be on the front page, right? It's bad enough competing with Smiley's points, right? Alyssa is one of our OG back in the day VIPs, and she said she wanted to make a blog, and I said, go make a blog about this specific topic, and it happened to be a topic that we were already blogging about, so we became like competitors, but we love to link to each other, and it's so fun. Okay, let's see. I think I got through all of the questions. Woo! And right, exactly. That's it, Akita. I want all VIP articles on the front page. When you Google like passive income pathways reviews, there's like 3 VIPs that are on the front page. There's still room for 7 more of y'all to go write a review about passive income pathways. And so we can take over the front page. That's really what it is about. I love it. Okay, Ryan, just like before, do you have, like, if you had one action step, one thing for everybody here to go and do right now, right away, first, what is that going to be? And then I'll give mine too.
Number one for me, and maybe I've said this before on our sessions because it's so important, is make a video. If you don't make video content, if it is daunting or scary or brings up some shit inside, if there's a reason why you don't make video content, then see if you can give yourself permission to try doing it just once. And it doesn't have to be amazing. You don't have to spend hours scripting it. Think short form, especially if you're in the position of, I don't make tons of videos. I want to try this out. I want to get comfortable with it. I want to feel good about myself as I'm doing it. How can you make a 1 minute or less video in the next few days? I don't want to say today, that's a lot of pressure, but maybe in the next few days, if you have some time, if you have some couple of hours, let's say, to time box yourself on this one, can you make a video related to a topic in your niche this week?
I love that. That's so perfect. I'm going to show you guys. Ryan said, like, your videos don't have to be perfect. Y'all go watch my shitty videos. I literally was like, I'm just going to brain dump all these videos. And I have done, I think, 7 videos now in the past week. Yes, you guys, it's a trick. It's a trick. All of my stuff is a trick. Ryan just gave homework. Yes, it's homework. And VIPs, y'all can go make a 1 minute video today. Ryan's soft. So if you're not a VIP, fine, but Ryan's a little soft. He is like, well, you don't have to do it today. And I'm like, yes, you're gonna go do it today. So if you're a VIP, you got to take my form of homework. But I just want to show you something real quick. I have never, ever, ever done video, never gotten into YouTube. Okay, ever. This past week, y'all have seen me. I have done 7 videos in the past 10 days. 7 videos.
Yes, that's
None
what we're
of them
talking about.
scripted, right? Like I just did it. I did it. I truly did not do anything special. I literally just took pages and pages of brain dump. I was like, which one am I going to record today? I have gained almost 100 new subscribers in the past, literally in the past week almost, because look at this, nothing, nothing, nothing. My watch time hours, almost 60 more than usual. My views, 568 more than usual. That is so tiny. This is so tiny, you guys, in the grand scheme of things. Like you're probably used to YouTubers showing their million views, but Ryan just said you will only get great at video by publishing and seeing what you want to improve next time. And that's so true. Look at this, you guys. Literally dead cat bounce to holy cow, double, triple, quadruple. And I'm going to set a record for my channel today. I just hit 100,000 views like in all time. So I just wanted to show you that tiny little thing. And that's with me putting shitty videos up. They were just brain dumps. There is no editing. I did them all in one take. No editing at all. I just did it. So I would challenge you guys to do the same thing. Try to do something video first, just like what Ryan just said. Try to do video first. He challenged you with a 1-minute video sometime soon. I'm going to add to that and say, if you want to do that to start off on a easy path, cool, do it, awesome, because what's easy for one person isn't easy for another. So doing a 1-minute video might send you into a literal tailspin. Okay. Go watch my videos first. You'll know that it's easy, but we're going to do the bonus homework. The extra level is create a video that you would normally write a blog post about. So look at your blog post schedule, look at your blog post ideas. Everybody's got ideas and drafts. If not, just come talk to me. You'll have 100. But go take one of your draft ideas, go shoot it as a video instead, and then use the tool to turn it into a blog post and watch how much faster your process is. Yes, Akita, if you've already done a post and you want to turn and do a video, absolutely. This is just for those who are like scared of video, haven't done it yet, all that kind of thing. You're wonderful on video. So anybody who's just like, I can't do this, and you're like frozen, okay, just go shoot a video, take some little notes, go shoot a video, and then turn it into a blog post and just see how much faster. That's the key here. And we're going to wrap this up right now, but Ryan's much better at video than I am. So I'm going to give my suggestion and then we'll end with his suggestion. So Brittany says, I hate my voice and how I look on camera. Any suggestions? So number 1, I literally have always hated my voice, but then I got cancer and had my thyroid taken out, and now my voice is like 3 octaves deeper than it was before, and I hate it even more. So like coming from someone who literally can't listen to themselves, I cannot rewatch my videos, which is why I don't edit them. If I edit, I'm gonna send it off to somebody else. I cannot listen to myself. Okay, that's number 1. So I understand. And then how I look on camera, again, I got sick. I have a chronic illness. I am a hot mess 90% of the time. Y'all have seen my videos where I'm in the moo-moo, right? Like I've recorded videos in a moo-moo that have made you guys money. So my suggestion to you, Brittany, and anyone else is literally just to do it. Like there's no way around being like, oh, well, you can do this and it'll make you feel better. Do this and it'll make you feel better. No, it's gonna fucking suck the first 10 times you do it. Okay. The only thing that's going to make it easier is if you just do it again and again and again. So Ryan, do you have any like practical tips for anybody?
So yes, I do. If you have things, call them self-care things that make you feel good about yourself, do those the day before you shoot some videos. Maybe that's, I don't know, could be like getting a blowout or like getting your makeup done, getting a massage the day before. Like there's little things that I think at least in my life, I've noticed, oh, I feel better about myself when I do this or that, working out, those kinds of things. So that's on the practical side. Now, here's the side I really want to talk about. So this is much more about self love than it is anything else. Video is just a representation of us having to see the way that we look at ourselves. And so when you feel that, you said it right here, Brittany, I hate my voice and how I look on camera. I think that you look and sound great. And I don't even need to watch your videos to know that. It's totally about your own perception of yourself here. And so I don't know how practical this could get, but figuring out ways to go deeper into what acceptance of yourself could look like is a very worthy thing that I've spent many years of my life on. So it's not something that I think you solve overnight. It's more like, hey, how do I take one step closer each day, each week through things like perhaps therapy, meditation, breath work, yoga, reading some really good books. There's a lot of good books out there on this kind of stuff. So how you relate to yourself is everything. And I think, from my perspective, doing video a lot more and starting to get good at it, let's say, the comfortability, the confidence, the courage, it only comes through doing it. You really just have to do it. And the best thing there is about when you're in your early days of video is that there aren't tons of people watching you. So this is your time to publish that stuff in a moo and still be freaking proud of it because you shipped it.
I love it. I love it. Yes. Beautiful. Okay. Thank you guys. We're going to stop recording.